Hey y'all, it's April the 28th, 2018, and I've made a series of videos today, a series of them. Stuff sometimes I get carried away on a tangent, but here's another video. All right, because I was inspired to make another video for y'all. I hope people out there can keep up. I can't hardly keep up. All right, I wanted to make another video for a couple reasons. One is to show my haircut. Oh, I got a haircut. Ah, don't that look dapper? Hey, there's Bella. She's there chilling. All right, but I wanted to make this video, because I was very inspired. I got an email, and I've received a number of emails today, and my new formula for conversing with people seems to be suffering from wild, unbelievable success. And I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who says anything to me and stuff and wants to have a conversation, man. Just know that I appreciate you. Sometimes it'll take a lot of time to get back to you, but I mean to get back to you every single time. If I find you to be an important person in my life, you probably know. You probably know, right? But I got an email from a person who's a dear contributor to my channel, and at that, just brilliant, like over the top, overwhelmingly brilliant person. And everybody who I converse with, and I find you to be an important person, like I said, you already know. And at the same time, I'm dumbfounded lots of times by your brilliance. I can't even believe it. Can't believe it. But I do believe it. Thing is, I want to touch upon what he was talking about in an email that he sent to me, and also invite anybody who wants to email me. It may take a long time for me to get back to you, but I probably will, especially if you're being genuine and you actually want to have a dialogue with me. In his email, basically, he's talking about, something that I very much believe in, and the fact is that people have brains that are just miracles, or I don't know how else you would call it, just miraculous in their functioning, right? And us as people, something that's I think very crucial to dwell upon is that, you know, uh, is that our brains are amazing. They're basically unstoppable. They're basically limitless. But at the same time, um, our individual brains as human beings, they can't comprehend certain things. They just don't. It's not enough time in the day to comprehend everything. You know, the points that he's making is some people are good at, for example, software engineering. Some people just can't understand it for the life of them. All right, I'm a particular example. I can't understand it. The different computer languages and this and that. I just can't wrap my head around it. But some people can. Right? Those very people who understand software engineering, maybe they don't, they have extreme trouble in English, or extreme trouble in different various topics and subtopics and stuff. They can't comprehend it, right? And I wanted to dwell upon that just a little bit. Is that this is how it works for every single one of us, all right? Um, we can comprehend certain things amazingly, and then certain things just don't compute in our heads. All right, that's just the way it is. I want to talk right now something that I mentioned before. I want to talk to you about the body of Christ, which is something that you hear a lot, from preachers, or you might have heard it from out of the Bible. It's called the body of Christ, and I believe that's what he was touching upon. Is it's a body of, might I suggest to you, believers and non-believers alike. People who have strengths, people who have weaknesses, people who know a whole lot about one thing but nothing about the other. All right. He brought up an example of a guy. If you remember the movie Rain Man, right, with Dustin Hoffman, and Tom Cruise. I really enjoyed that movie and stuff. I don't have time to watch movies and stuff these days, but I used to watch a lot of movies, and I really enjoyed that movie, especially Rain Man. But he was telling me that Rain Man was actually based upon a particular person, a real life person, right? And basically, this dude, he could compute numbers like nobody's business, right, in his head. And I've heard people talk about the autistic ability, and we're going to talk about autism in this video, but I've heard people talk about the autistic ability of being able to compute numbers. And I've heard people describe it, like I heard this one person describe it, and that you give him numbers, just throw out numbers. And it's not as though he's doing the math in his head, like carrying the one, you know what I'm saying? And writing it all out in his head. What happens is you tell him numbers, and immediately the answer appears in his head. There's no thinking about it. It just happens, right? That's what some people would uh, categorize as impossible. It's very possible. He does it, and there's other people who do it. Where like I said, you give them that math problem. They don't think about it. It's just in their head. It just appears, and he says it, right? And so he was talking about this real life Rain Man, and that he's brilliant in that way. He's dumbfounding in his strengths, but at the same time, he had trouble tying his shoes. Right? I hadn't heard about this guy, but the guy, he lived his life, being a math genius. At the same time, he couldn't really tie his shoes. So what he did was he had people tie his shoes for him and stuff. I want to Google that, just find out about that. And that's brilliant. That's amazing. It's amazing that people would tie his shoes for him and work as a team. Right? That is a very small example of the world of examples that you'll find of the body of Christ working together, people working as a team. My brain understands certain things, and I can help you to get through life in understanding certain things that I know very well. Meanwhile, my brain does not understand other certain things, and then I'll go to other people and have them help me with those things that I don't understand. This is how the body of Christ works, right? Like I said, it is filled up with people who are believers and non-believers in Jesus Christ, and it does not even matter whether or not you believe, right? But it is the body of Christ. That is exactly what we're talking about. It's basically a team of people who work together, who put their brains together. What I'm here to suggest, and a lot of people are starting to understand, is when we put our brains together in that sort of a fashion, the human race, and it is just one, the human race is unstoppable, dude. I don't care if there's alien races all zipping throughout the universe. I dare them. I dare them to come try to stop us. They can't stop us. It is just what it is. Our brains will not be stopped if we just put them together. All right? We have to focus on certain things such as free speech, such as respecting each other and not wanting to be violent against each other and not jumping to conclusions about each other. Instead, hearing each other out and listening to what someone is saying. So long as we have respect in mind, so long as we had teamwork in mind, we cannot be stopped. Our brains are unlimited. Our communal brains are absolutely unlimited, and this kind of potential can be unlocked through, like I said, teamwork and also free speech. When you censor free speech, or you want free speech censored, or you say you call it hate speech, or you call it this and that and say it's not appropriate, what you're doing is you're trying to stifle the human race. Is something that I like to emphasize. That's literally what you're trying to do. All right. There is not any sort of speech that should be limited because people learn different ways, people talk different ways. All right. If we could simply come together, we cannot be stopped. I mean, to the point where if we want to shoot for the stars, if we want to be zipping around the galaxy all Star Trek mode, yeah, human beings are definitely capable of doing this. human beings at the same time are definitely capable of doing wildly unthinkable things, such as walk on water. All right, a lot of people don't want to believe it. You don't have to believe it. Human beings are capable of it. There's been many human beings on Earth who have done it. Right? You might think, oh, you're believing in fairy tales. I don't even like fairy tales. I find them to be a waste of time. I like to listen to actual real life stories that people tell, and if there's any evidence of it, I can wrap my head around it. All right. Capabilities of human beings just is unending, and it all involves teamwork, and it all involves free speech, and like I said, it is the work of the body of Christ. All right, and it can't be stopped. It won't be stopped. Period. All day long. And just to finish off this video, I want to stress, as I do from time to time, and it's a very key note in this channel, is that autism is very misunderstood, and that's a travesty. Like the Rain Man, for example, and there's plenty of them out there. There's plenty of autistic people out there. The idea of wanting to cure autism is by every means retarded. It's a retarded idea. You should not have, but people are very confused, and that's why I keep going over and reiterating it, because we've been told autism is a problem, or autism, we want to find a solution for autism. Autism has nothing to do with the physical symptoms that a lot of autistic people are faced with, because people who aren't autistic are still faced with physical symptoms of different ailments and deficiencies and things all the time. So you got to understand that autism, whether or not we have to create a whole different word because people are so confused, autism, it has nothing to do with a mental deficiency at all in any regard. Some people say autistic people who cannot speak and think, oh man, I wish we could get a cure for that. They don't need to speak. That is what needs to be embraced. Autistic people out there who cannot speak, they don't need to. There's autistic people out there who cannot tie their shoes. The thing about it is they do not need to. They'll find somebody else to do it, right? There's autistic people out there who can't do all sort of different things. Can't drive a car. They can't do this and that. But it really does not matter. It never will matter so long as we have teamwork. So long as I don't know if you call it understanding. So long as we have understanding of each other and the value and significance of every last human life. Autism isn't a problem. Autism is the solution. All right, that's one thing that I wanted to dwell upon tonight. And there's always something that we can learn from each other. But at the same time, I do have to stress that if you are arguing against free speech, which is pretty much the main factor in creating a nation called America, which a lot of people regard as the most successful nation that ever was, or ever is. I mean, it's still going. If you're arguing against free speech and deeming it hate speech and stuff, basically you're arguing against progress. You're arguing against the progress of human beings. If you're arguing against autism, if you're out there searching for a cure, i.e. Autism Speaks, which is it's an organization that really does seek to find the cure for autism, what you're doing is you're stifling human progress, right? And this is why I typically become very offended at the idea of it, right? Like I said, this collaboration, this teamwork effort is the body of Christ. In the Bible, that is what it is referring to. It's an unstoppable force, right? And that's kind of what I bring to the table. There's lots of things that I personally don't understand well. I'm coming to find out that manufacturing is something that I do understand. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. Other different various what seems to be random things enter my brain, and I really enjoy it. Like I like watching people debate. I like listening to people speak. I like listening to music. I like listening more than I like talking. These are my strengths. It's what I bring to the table. A lot of people, for example, they don't exactly get the Bible. They don't understand it. They have trouble reading it. They have trouble following it. I'm not exactly the best when it comes to linguistics, but I've read different various Bibles and stuff, and I truly enjoy the stories of them. That's what I'm bringing to the table. I could tell you about them in order to help other people understand what exactly the Bible is bringing to the table. I understand it pretty well, all right, and that you don't necessarily have to read the Bible, but I might tell you about certain stories in the Bible, and that's my offering to help you, all right. A lot of people might think, oh, you're trying to force Christianity on me. You're trying to convert me. I don't have no desire to convert anybody at all, and I never will. If you don't believe, then you don't believe. It doesn't matter to me, right? But that's how I can help you, right? People come to me all the time, and they talk to me about this and that, various problems in their life. And certainly everybody has problems in their life, to include it, and especially myself. I do have definite problems that I have to overcome and work through in order to make my life more successful and peaceful. All right. No matter what, irregardless. I've talked to countless people. They'll come up to me either on the internet or in real life, and they'll talk to me about their various problems. And no matter what, I don't care what their color of skin is, I don't care where they come from, I don't care their background or anything. They inevitably always describe to me a situation in which is carefully explained and mapped out in the Bible. Every time. They never come at me with a problem that I don't translate directly to a story that I've heard in the Bible. Right? You might say that I'm reaching and I want everything to be in relation to the Bible because that's what I know. Not really. It's just that it's all, no matter what your problem is, no matter what kind of problems that you're having, you're definitely going to find a story in the Bible that relates, right? And if you have trouble reading it, hey, I could share with you. I can have a conversation with you. In fact, I look to be hopefully more and more in the future um, getting to have more and more understanding of different various stories in the Bible because it's a long, long book and I don't exactly remember all the details, but I do whenever I am in a conversation where people are sharing their different various problems and things of this nature, it always clicks in my head. I'm always reminded of different various verses and passages that I read in the Bible, and I might not be able to tell you about them um, just off the top until you remind me of them. That right there is teamwork. I don't care if you're a Muslim. I don't care if you're a Buddhist or this and that. All I care about is that you're a human being and we're having a transaction. And I'll help you in any kind of way that I can afford to help you in. All right. And hopefully you'll help me in any sort of way that I might need. There's been countless times in my life where people have helped me and they did not have to, of all different races, and it didn't matter. There's so many different people who look all sort of different ways who have helped me before in ways that they did not have to help me, and yet still they did it free of charge, right? And then they vanished into the abyss, and I was never to see them again. But I'm eternally grateful to every last one of them who's done something for me, and I'm grateful to people who haven't done anything for me, just to know that they'll do something for somebody else one day and really help them out of a jam. But that's what it is. That is what the body of Christ is, and it is powered by autism. Autism is the solution. It is not a problem in the least. Right? And like I said, 2 minutes out the video, autism, what it is, just the essence of it is a rebellion that takes place in your brain, right? And typically the rebellion is against the social norms of our society that have been forced upon us, little boxes that we're put in. We have no use for the boxes. Right? All we have use for is sharing with each other in very elaborate ways. That's all we have use for. That is what progress is. And it will carry us off into the stars. And we are unlimited. And we will do things that are very reminiscent of miracles that you'll hear about in the Bible, just so that you know. I mean, a lot of people look at those stories and say, oh, that could have never happened. It could have never happened. Actually, you know what? The capabilities of human beings are endless. So, you know, probably it did happen. I mean, a lot of people have talked about it. It probably did happen. More than likely, I know there's a lot of people who just can't believe it. I'm here to tell you, you should probably think about believing it. We're all up in the tribulation, by the way. It is April the 28th, 2018. I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. God bless each and every one of you. I don't care what your religion is, and I never did, and I never will. I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.